technically, which side am I going to be aiming at? That, right. So your thrusting hand goes over your ASIS bone. And for this, see how if I'm here on his ASIS bone, I'm leaning right over his body. Probably not the best position, so I'm going to get the patient closer to me. Yeah, right there's good. Oh, yeah, he's side bending himself already. Good patient. Standing here, step one, side bend the patient away. Right, so side bending to the left. And place your hands right here for me. Next thing we need to do is to rotate him toward me. So be side bending left, rotation away. The opposite. My buddy Paul, I told you, was a big 6'5", tall, broad like this, and so he could just do this. And that's just too much work for me. And honestly, I'm lazy. So for me, it's easier to pull. So what I do is I come around this way. Let me sneak by you guys. I'm going to ask you, just lift your head up a little bit. Yeah, there. Slip my right hand underneath the scapula. And then what I'm going to do is from here, I'm going to pull him towards me and rotate. Here. And I get him right up on his shoulder. Ooh, that was pretty easy. And then I walk around and I check to make sure he's, I don't usually keep my patients like this for very long, but I check to make sure he's maintained the side bending.
So can't we ask the patient to do the self-rotation instead of...
But what you do is you lose some of this side bending. Right? And that's the key. So when he can just roll this way, I pulled him this way while I rolled him to make sure we keep that. So now I've got him right there, and it's pretty easy to control the patient right there. It doesn't take much effort. Feeling okay there? Doing okay there? Yes? Okay. And so you can find ASIS here. Again, keeping in mind he's still side bent there. Hand position can be here. Hand position can be on the scapula. I feel a little more control proximally over that ASIS. And see how my arm's straight? I like to use my body weight and just do, I'm going to do just this. Also note, I have him up on his shoulder, so it's easy to pivot and roll him. Look at that. Easy peasy. Here? Okay there? You don't have any contraindications, right? Good. Here, take up that slack. Quick. Oh! Some key things to note. Are you okay in that position? Yeah. So here, notice what I did. I was here, I took up the slack, I held that, and then boop, from there. Right? Hold it, and boop. Not this. Right? Because then you're coming out doing a grade 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that's not what this is. It's a grade 5. So take up the slack, hold it, and boop.
So we did it once more, sir?
Which part? I'm going to go through the whole thing again. Is that okay? So, slide towards me a little bit. Are you comfortable there? Yeah? You're stiff back there, huh? Side bend away. Again, my hand will be under the scapula. I'll pull him towards me, which helps to keep that side bending, and then I'll rotate. One of the biggest mistakes I see, in addition to the thrusting and pistoning up and then going, is this, and then people rotate, and then what do you see there for side bending? I lost it. We need to maintain side bending rotation. So here, keep your hand behind. There you go. Lift your head up a bit. Underneath there. Nice squat position. And I pull him just so he's up on his shoulder. So now, pretty easy to control that. Then I'll walk around for the technique. Sometimes, that's why I had him take this off. Go ahead, down your back. There you go. If that's slippery on a slippery table, his shoulder will slip out. And if it slips out, he's this. Loses that side bending, not good. So what I'll have the patient do is pull their sleeve up, get him on the table, so that increases the friction, and they don't slide like that. So, relax right there. Thank you. Questions about this technique?
So what position itself if the patient has a pain?
If the patient has pain when you position them,
Yeah.
if the patient has pain at a 2, that's my discomfort. How high is it on the 0 to 10 scale? It's about a 2. All right, I won't keep you here long. I'm just going to give you a quick little move there and therapeutic nudge, and then we'll get you back out of that position. If I get him into that position and he's like, oh, what's that? Oh, that's my pain that brought me to see you. Oh yeah, how bad does it hurt? And his eyes are sweating, and he says it's a 7 or 8. All right, let's get you down on your backside. And then I'd get him to a sideline technique, and I would do something a little bit different, which will be doing the next technique. See, I'm always thinking about that level of irritability, and that's dictating what I do and how aggressive I am with the patient.
And so the next thing is like when you do the manipulation technique, sometimes like if it's like you hear the pop sound like that. If he doesn't hear it, you again try to go for that. Shall we do that or not?
So we got some pops here, of course, but if you don't get the pop, secondary analyses have shown that you don't really need the pop in this case. If you're doing these 100 times, you're not getting a pop, you're probably doing something that's not on track. I do what I feel. So I get in the spot, take up that slack, and at that end range I feel the joint's really snug, there's no play there, and I get a good thrust and I don't get a pop, I might say, okay, that felt good to me. It was done properly. It was taken up, from here, and I slip off his pants a little bit. That was not good. I don't tell the patient.
How many times can you repeat on one side, sir?
Studies have shown at least, I've done 2 on each side.
2 on each side.
So I might just get up and go grab it this way. I might do it again this way. Feel like, maybe I don't feel like I got it. I might go the other direction. Stand him up, reassess. That didn't work. Maybe I'll go up higher in the lumbar spine. Questions?
Other than mobility factors, is there any rationale for this technique?
Meaning about what? How?
About this technique, the rationale for this technique, other than the mobility aspect, you said the hypomobile segment will get mobilized better. Other than that, any other rationale to use this particular manipulation technique?
Any other indications? Francis indications?
Sure. So any stiffness, I typically go, any low back pain, barring red flags and contraindications. If they don't have any of that stuff, I wouldn't do it. But folks with low back pain, those factors up there, I always do it if they don't have red flags. Other folks that have stiffness, discomfort, I'm always thinking that this might be an appropriate technique, especially if they have mobility restrictions, and again, depending on the level of irritability. So that's who I'm looking to go for these folks. So I'd say my patients with low back pain, what did I say, 30% actually are in that manipulation group. I probably use this on 50%. I might do this and go right into stabilization exercises. Study has shown that this manipulation improves motor control or the ability to contract multifidi and transverse abdominis. So do this first and then get into some of those exercises. So that's another rationale why, when and why I use it.
How can we change the label? You may have been doing suddenly, and if we add it to the upper level, then how can we?
In an upper level, upper lumbar spine.
I mean, say that does the position of leg to side flexion change the label of manipulation?
No, that's what it's called a more regional. When we get to the sideline one, we can try to get more side bending that way and be more specific. This one is more regional, and you need to keep the full side bending. Right? So when I had him, I was in full side bending, and it needs to be in that regardless of this technique. So you can't change the levels of side bending because you need that to take up the slack. With this technique, we can play with that a bit more with the next technique. Questions? Ready to give it a try? Oh, one more question.
You said you could go higher the lumbar spine. How would you do that?
That would be in the next sideline technique. It's for this one, it's general, and you have to do maximal side bending.
In your clinical practice, any adverse events have been noticed?
Like adverse events meaning?
Like patient has new complaint following this technique.
Never. 20 tell them the same story. About 75% of our patients, when they have these manual therapy techniques, they'll be sore for the next 24 hours. The other 25% aren't. They come in the next day. They're in one of those groups. So I'm always right. No matter what they feel. See, but you're educating them. Reality, you're educating. Never any adverse effects. We ran a study where a patient came in, they had a cane, they were bent over like this. My colleague Jess said, I think we might have one for the study. No way. And then the patient's eligible, and she's going to I'm starting to for the clinical I had a patient come to my colleague with manipulation, and like in 2 visits, no pain, 50%. Clinically, if I saw that come in, I would not. I still would not. But it's amazing sometimes. Okay, let's give it a try.